Please welcome the Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Atlanta Regional Commission, Anna Roach.
Good morning, everyone. I am so delighted to be here with all of you this morning. And oh my goodness, wow, what a video. As the mother of 4 children, 2 of them are here today, I truly enjoyed seeing the next generation imagine our region's future. These young people were spot on. We must own our future. Each year at this event, we take the opportunity to take a step back and take stock of our region. And so today, I'll reflect on some of our most notable successes of the past year, and then I'll talk a little bit about the ways in which the Atlanta Regional Commission is investing to help build a better Metro Atlanta. And finally, I'll explore some of our key challenges that we must collectively own and address in order to own our future. You know, the past year has certainly been rocky. The COVID-19 pandemic is still with us, seeming to flare up just when we think it's in our rear view. We've also faced soaring inflation that hit a 4-decade high, making it difficult for some of our families, some of our friends, and people from across our region to afford everything from gas to groceries. But Metro Atlanta has been nothing short of resilient in the face of these headwinds. In fact, we continue to grow and we continue to prosper. The 11-county region has added 65,000 residents just in the past year. And this growth is truly a testament to our dynamic economy, which is adding jobs, by the way, at one of the fastest rates in the country. Our unemployment rate is now 3.5%, a near record low in Metro Atlanta. And that's down from a high of 12% in the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic. And what about those job announcements? Job announcements in Metro Atlanta just keep on coming. Microsoft is building a massive corporate campus here, and Google recently moved into its new Metro Atlanta headquarters. Major companies like Ford and Nike and Walmart are all planning tech hubs here. Our region has really become a magnet for tech talent, and we absolutely welcome that. We're generating good manufacturing jobs too. Defense contractor Andrew Industries plans to open a manufacturing and research facility right here in our home host county of Fulton. And Home Chef, a personal meal provider, is hiring 700 people to work at its new plant in Douglasville. And by now, I'm sure you all have heard about Rivian. Their electric vehicle plant is being built just east of Metro Atlanta and will employ more than 8,000 people. That will surely draw on our region's wide and deep talent pool. There's actually a Rivian vehicle right outside these doors here today, and I hope you get a chance to take a look at it before you leave. And let's not forget about Hyundai. They just broke ground this week on their EV manufacturing plant just outside of Savannah. It's so exciting to see these investments in our state and in our region. We're making progress in transportation as well. The Georgia Department of Transportation is nearing completion on an $800 million overhaul of the Georgia I-285 and Georgia 400 interchange. That's one of the most busiest interchanges in the nation. This project is a part of the state's landmark major mobility investment program, which is dramatically reshaping our region. The program calls for improvements and express lanes for the top end of 285 as well. In fact, this particular project was subject of one of this year's most important examples of regional collaboration. Transportation leaders of the Georgia Department of Transportation, MARTA, the Atlanta Regional Commission, of course, and the ATL collaborated with elected leaders of Cobb, DeKalb, Fulton, and Gwinnett counties to sign a historic agreement that would study bus rapid transit service to utilize those new I-285 express lanes. This agreement builds on the foundational work of key stakeholders that includes the mayor of 7 cities and leadership from CIDs also near the top end of 285. I was really proud to work alongside these state and local leaders to demonstrate the power of cooperation and forward thinking. You know, not too long ago, this kind of support for transit across both political and jurisdictional lines might have seemed all but impossible. But today, it's celebrated really as a sign of things to come. In another cause for celebration, MARTA is moving ahead with 2 key projects that will deliver high-capacity transit service on Campbellton Road and within the Summerhill community. Both of those communities are on the City of Atlanta's south side. These projects are vitally important as it will make it easier for people within these communities and neighborhoods to access major job centers as well as critical services. Our success is getting noticed as well. You know, Money Magazine recently named Atlanta as the best place to live in the United States. Or, as our 61st mayor would say, in the galaxy. How about that, Mayor Dickens? And if that wasn't enough, our region's economic growth has played a key role in the state of Georgia being named the nation's #1 place to do business in America by Area Development Magazine for the 9th year in a row. I am truly proud to say that the work of the Atlanta Regional Commission is contributing greatly to the region's success, as well to the state's success. Last year, ARC programmed $2.9 billion in federal and state funding for direct transportation improvements in the Atlanta region. And we allocated more than $16 million in federal funds to help older Americans, as well as people with disabilities, thrive and live in their home. In the past year, ARC awarded nearly $2 million in Livable Center Initiative study grants, helping to build livable communities that are more vibrant, connected, and walkable. Really, the kind of places those young people talked about in the video we just watched. And we should all be proud of our region's success. We've got a lot to celebrate in all of that I spoke of. But of course, not everybody is enjoying in this success. We have neighbors, community members who are struggling to make ends meet, and too many are having difficulty accessing quality, affordable housing in our region. That's why our theme this year is owning our future. To own our future, we must not be afraid to tackle our most important and difficult challenges. To own our future, we must be decisive about our direction and make the investments that set us on a path to success. And to own our future, we have to dream big. We have to imagine what is possible with the power of our collective thought and resources. For the past year at the Atlanta Regional Commission, we've been doing just that. We have identified, as a consequence of that thinking, 5 key regional priorities that will guide our work and get us to owning our future. Each of these priorities is critically important to the future of our region. First, housing. We've all seen the headlines about the growing housing affordability crisis in Metro Atlanta, but also across the United States. Rents and home prices are simply rising too fast. This threatens our quality of life in Metro Atlanta, it threatens our competitiveness in Metro Atlanta, and it threatens our economic future if we don't address it. ARC's regional housing strategy provides local governments with the information and the tools that they need to explore meaningful solutions for their communities. Now, you'll hear much more about this regional challenge and some of our solutions later on in our program from one of our dynamic What's Next ATL speakers. But know that housing remains an area of intense focus for us at the Atlanta Regional Commission. We will address this problem. Our next priority is climate change and resiliency. You know, we have made progress over the years through innovative programs at the Atlanta Regional Commission, like our Livable Centers Initiative, the Georgia Commute Options, as well as our Livable Green Communities Initiative. But it's time that we place even greater emphasis on climate change. And I'm excited to announce that the Atlanta Regional Commission will be taking a leadership role in this critical area, led by our Natural Resources Department. Our new climate initiative that will be launched in 2023 is designed to provide counties and cities in our region with the subject matter expertise as well as technical assistance that they need to access funding and implement real change. Again, the time for talking about climate change is over. We must take action. We must also ensure that this third area of focus for the Atlanta Regional Commission, equity, infuses all of the work that we do. Our goal is to build a great region where everybody has the chance to succeed, no matter where they live in Metro Atlanta. So many of us here in this room are focused on making our region a more equitable place, and with good reason. But we may sometimes need to remind ourselves and remind others why we wake up every day and stay committed to this important work. While many thrive in Metro Atlanta, we also regrettably have one of the lowest rates of upward mobility in the country. It's simply too hard for people to climb out of the lower rungs of the economic ladder. And consider health outcomes as we just came out of this pandemic. Do you know that where you live in Metro Atlanta can impact how long you live? People in the Vinings community, as an example, on average, live about 88 years compared to just 65 years for those living in the Atlanta English Avenue community. So what does equity look like for the Atlanta Regional Commission? Well, it means prioritizing projects that not only move people from point A to point B, but investing in those that make it easier for residents in underserved communities to get good jobs. It means focusing on resources and on communities where people have significantly lower life expectancy. It means investing in people, investing in job training to provide new career paths and upward mobility for those who have trouble doing so. We must be intentional to bring about this change. Our final two regional priorities are inextricably linked: infrastructure and workforce development. The Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act presents a historic opportunity for our region. It is the single most significant infrastructure investment from the federal government to metro areas like ours in at least a generation, maybe two. Critically, it doubles transportation investment in our region and across the United States for the next 5 years. It is a game changer, without question. And perhaps most important, this legislation broadens and redefines what we have traditionally thought of as infrastructure. So while funding, indeed, will be increased for roads and bridges and transit, we can also plan for investments in expanding broadband access, investments to address climate change. We can also invest in improving equity that we talked about just earlier. The Atlanta Regional Commission knows this legislation is complex. If you've taken a look at it, the executive summary alone runs about 500 places. But ARC is uniquely situated to help shape this region's response to this investment opportunity and to ensure that all of our local governments represented here and across the Atlanta region have exactly what they need to maximize the possibilities within this law. We've accepted that call to action at ARC and began with the launch of a comprehensive engagement strategy that will inform, advise, and prepare our stakeholders to make the most of this infrastructure law. The strategy includes a website that was developed by the Atlanta Regional Commission staff that will help local officials explore and understand the new funding opportunities that are within that law. It has a customized interactive data tool that the talented team at the Atlanta Regional Commission built in-house. I have yet to see another one anywhere in the nation that rivals what we've built in-house. In addition to those engagement tools, I am so pleased to announce that the Atlanta Regional Commission is launching a regional infrastructure consortium. That consortium will be made up of experts from across Metro Atlanta in key areas of transportation, water, energy, and broadband. The consortium is designed to prioritize regional projects to target for discretionary funding. It's no secret that the discretionary funds will be highly competitive across the nation and are further complicated by brand new guidelines, brand new federal priorities that will require our region to do things differently in order to be successful. It requires regional collaboration and innovation in the way we go after those dollars. So this regional approach will undoubtedly put Metro Atlanta in a better position to be successful in our competition for those funds across the United States. ARC is pleased to take a leading role in bringing the region together and providing grant writing resources, subject matter expertise, and federal advocacy to improve our award success rates in these federal pursuits. Projects that are vetted and recommended by the Infrastructure Consortium will then be presented to the Infrastructure Caucus of our board, made up of members of the ARC board. Our work on infrastructure will include this, but will be ongoing as we see the dollars present themselves over the year within the infrastructure law. We are committed to helping this region gain access to the funding needed to transform our communities and to own our future. Now, this brings me to the very last of our priorities this year: workforce development. The bipartisan infrastructure law promises a significant increase in the number of construction projects that will get launched in our region. And this comes at a time when many of the firms, some of who are represented here this morning, are having trouble filling those positions that are open today. How will we fill those jobs? Who will fill those jobs? ARC is in the design phase of a regional collaboration workforce development initiative where we will engage workforce and transportation agencies, the Technical College System of Georgia, the private sector through our chambers, as well as our K-12 leadership. I am so glad to have the school superintendents represented with us today, because we have to stop having workforce development conversations that don't include the beginning of that pipeline. The goal of this convening will be to identify and fund both construction and EV skilled worker training programs to meet the demand we know is coming to our region, so that Georgia and Metro Atlanta can deliver on their infrastructure promise. All of this may seem daunting, but we know that Metro Atlanta has what it takes to affect real change. We know that. Because after all, we are the cradle of the civil rights movement. Decades ago, our leaders had the vision to build a world-class airport that transformed our region to the global economic powerhouse that it is today. We were the first place in the South to install a regional rail system. And who would have thought at the time that we could land the Summer Olympics? And here we are, once again, bracing ourselves to host the globe at the 2026 World Cup. So I leave you this morning with both a sense of optimism for what's to come, as well as a note of urgency. We must step up to meet this moment. I certainly don't want my children and the future generation of this region, decades from now, to be talking about how Atlanta missed this golden opportunity to build a brighter future for us and for them. The state of the region is certainly strong, thanks to all of you in here. And we will continue to look for opportunities to improve through innovation and investments that make it possible for all of us to live our best lives. I encourage all of you to join us on this journey, because only by working together can we truly succeed and own our future. Thank you.